Hello viewers, today we are going to deal with the lesson the types, objectives and functions of early childhood care and education. The objective of this lesson is to understand about the different types of early childhood educational programs and to understand the different objectives of early childhood care and education, and also to see what are the different functions of early childhood care and education. Module 1, Introduction. The first 6 years of a life is considered as a golden period in a childhood. The children grow fast and they learn to move quicker during the first 6 years than any time in their life. In this formative period of development, it takes place rapidly in terms of acquisition of the skills, habits, attitudes, concepts and the power of observation, as well as the ability to think and to communicate. The development of the human personality rests on the sound foundation of the social, emotional, physical and intellectual development of the child during these stages of infancy and the early childhood age. Early childhood education stands as for the entire development of the child in future. The early childhood care and education, it aims at development of the child as a total and the child in the physical, motor, emotional, social, cognitive, language and moral. It is important to note that the attendance in the preschool does not automatically guarantee a better academic achievement, but also the quality aspects such as a healthy environment, meaningful objectives, stimulating and encouraging activities, the caregiving teachers are imperative to ensure all-round development in the children. The early childhood, as a matter of fact, is a foundation period of life. The total development of the child manifests itself in 3 dimensions, which are physical or motor, psychological, which includes perception, intellectual and personality development, as well as the behavior consisting of the socio-emotional development, and the third one is the language development. The need and the scope of early childhood care and education is very important in order to fulfill the developmental needs of the children during the formative period, that is from birth to 6 years. And early childhood care and education is an essential component which promotes various skills in the children. Now, let us see the objectives of early childhood care and education. Module 2, the developmental objectives of early childhood care and education. The first basic objective of early childhood care and education is to have a basic motor skills, good physique, adequate muscular and eye-hand coordination that is to be developed in the children. As the child is growing physically, he progressively attains strength, muscular coordination and precision with the body and using the body parts in the more coordinated process, which we call as a motor development. Motor development depends upon the neural and muscular maturation and readiness. There is a definite pattern which is followed in motor development, that is the development is always from head to foot and proceeds from mass activities to specific activities. The motor skills are classified into the gross motor skills and the fine motor skills. The gross motor skills are those activities that involve the movement of large muscles such as crawling and running, skipping, jumping, climbing, walking, balancing, throwing, catching, swinging and kicking. The gross motor skills are again subdivided into 2 types. The first one is to relate those skills that mainly lead to the physical development. Activities like walking, running, skipping, climbing, all these fall into this gross motor skills. There are other gross motor skills like throwing, catching, kicking, balancing and hitting, which require more coordinated action of movements. The fine motor skills. The fine motor skills involve the finer movement of the muscles. They require proper coordination of eyes, hands and fingers. The writing readiness is one such skill which involves learning to hold a pencil and then mark it with a desired direction. The skills like painting, sorting, drawing, folding, cutting, threading, pouring, clay modeling, pasting, marking, all this fall into these fine motor skills. That different activities which are promoting the fine gross and the gross motor activities are the free and structured play activities which involve running, jumping, the water play, threading, sewing, pulling, gripping and play with puzzles, wooden pieces, coloring, singing, dancing, building blocks and assembling the toys, buttoning, fastening the zips, action songs, walking forward and backward, the wax crayons, cutting the paper with the small scissors, ascending and descending on a ladder, folding, tearing and pasting of the paper. All these come under the developing the gross and fine motor skills in the child. The second objective of early childhood care and education is inculcation of good health habits in the children and to build up the basic skills necessary for personality adjustment. The activities to arrive or achieve these objectives are: the child at this age needs to develop basic skills necessary for day-to-day life, which in turn becomes a habits like the dressing, toilet habits, eating, washing, cleaning, and the skills for dressing, eating and keeping the things in its place, washing hands before and after every meal, maintaining the personal cleanliness, eating in a proper way and using the garbage tins and coming to the school regularly and habits of keeping the classroom clean. These all will help to achieve inculcating the good and healthy habits in the preschool years. The third objective is to develop desirable social attitudes and manners which encourage healthy group participation, making the child sensitive to the rights and privileges of others. Beginning with the preschool age, the process of socialization continues throughout the life. The ability of the child to interact with other children and adults at home in social situations is referred to as a social behavior. The development of this ability enables the children to get adjusted in the social group. Through the process of socialization, the child learns the ways and the norms of the society, the values and other social attributes. So, to develop this in early childhood periods, the center should provide more opportunities for the children to take part in group activities organized. Greeting the teacher and waiting for their turn, cooperative plays, organized games, outdoor play activities are some of the activities which help the children to learn to wait for their turn and respect others. The child are guided by the teachers to follow certain activities, the social ethics and use of words such as thank you, sorry and please. Fostering independence. The activities that are required to foster independence are requiring for sharing, celebrations, dramatic play, fancy dress shows and allotting duties and responsibilities to the children. The next objective of early childhood care and education is to develop emotional maturity by guiding the children to express, understand and accept, control their feelings and emotions. Emotions are essential part of life. Emotions are brief, intense and transitory. Some of the common emotions are love, anger, fear, jealousy, aggression, anxiety and joy. For emotional development in early childhood periods, the activities include the gradual adjustment to school, opportunities to express positive and negative emotions in a healthy manner, able to recognize common emotions like the happy, sad feeling, and creating an atmosphere that breeds trust and security in the child. Variety of activities that satisfies the child needs for both loud and quiet play. Paper tearing, scribbling on paper, clay modeling, finger painting, dancing, singing are some of the few activities that can channelize the negative emotions in the children. Imaginative play, a play in a doll corner, dramatization of shop play through which the children can act out or express their situation which might be causing anxiety in the children. Module 3, encouraging aesthetic appreciation in children. For encouraging aesthetic appreciation in the children, the activities include creative activities like painting, coloring, drawing, the field trips, nature walk, appreciating beauty in the nature, sand play, craft and artwork, decorations in the school, all stimulate the creative experiences in the child. To stimulate the beginning of intellectual curiosity concerning the environment and help to understand the world, it is just a physical structure of the body which grows due to the assimilation of nourishment available from the food. The intellectual structures begins the nourishment through receiving, reacting and interacting with the environment stimuli. What are the activities for development of senses? The activities for developing the senses are the games and activities for visual discrimination, activities with touch cord, varying textures to develop the sense of touch, storytelling, songs and informal talk with the children, and question answer sessions for sound discrimination, activities with objects varying in smell, activities with different kinds of food for taste development, activities for self exploration, treasure hunt and storytelling by recall method are some of the activities which develop the 5 senses. To develop the self exploration, the activities for self exploration include provision of play equipment, blocks, puzzles in different sizes, shapes, colors and the activities that impart different concepts. The development of problem solving and reasoning include the activities which help in solving the problems like the relationship cards, answering simple questions, story narration, the formation of basic concepts and the activities for identifying and naming different colors which helps for the color concept in early childhood years. The activities to match, identify and name the basic colors which includes the red, blue, yellow and black and white by 3 to 4 years of the child. So, the activities to understand that mixing and blending of colors lead to formation of new colors. The activities should enable the child to match, identify, name the colors, and activities to match, identify the shapes like the square, triangle which gives the concept of shape to the children. The activities to match, identify and name the basic colors that is red, blue, yellow, black and white by 3 to 4 years old. The activities to understand about the mixing and blending of colors leading to formation of new colors will help the child to match, identify and name the colors. By the age of 3 to 4 years, the activities should help the child to name the different shapes of the objects like the circle, square, triangle and relate these objects in the environment. The ability to match and identify and name the big and small, long and short, heavy and light, tall and short, thick and thin, narrow and wide, all these should be forming to help the number concept. The next objective of early childhood education is to develop the ability to reorganize positions like in and out, over and under, left and right, front and back, above and below, top and bottom, before and after. And the next objective is developing the self concept, which is a positive self concept, like the awareness of themselves and to feel good about what they are and what type of the feeling they are having, that is the self-worthiness. Some suggested activities are to celebrate each child's birthday. Month-wise calendar of birthday can be made and hung in the class, and make the name cards for each child in the class and put up the child's drawing for display and the prize to child liberally. And the concept of temperature and science activities will be helping the child to identify about the hot and cold environment. For the formation of environmental concepts through conservation, free talk, display methods, sand modules, field trips, simple experiments, dramas, organized games, the concept of myself, family, the pet and wild animals, vegetables and fruits, transport, community workers, festivals, air, about the universe and seasons. These are some of the concepts that can be dealt in the early childhood care and education centers. Module 4, developing the listening skills. To develop the child's ability to express his or her feelings, thought in a fluent, correct speech, and developing the skills for sound discrimination, enhancing the listening span and comprehension. The activities for listening skills include vocabulary games, rhymes, dramatization, storytelling, reading, and acquiring the sound discrimination, which will be enhancing the listening, correction and comprehension. How to develop the verbal expressions? Verbal development or the vocabulary development, the fluency and clarity of expression, talking in sequence and creative self-expression through rhymes and songs, making puppets, show pictures and picture word matching. These are some of the activities which help in the development of verbal expression in children. The vocabulary related to body, home, physical and social environment can be developed through activities like the conversation, storytelling, role play. And the development of reading, writing and thematic readiness can be done. Readiness is a stage where the children are mature enough and ready to learn without any stress, that might be intellectual or emotional stress. In order to develop the readiness, specific activities are required to be undertaken, that is the auditory discrimination, visual discrimination, the auditory visual associations. So, these are some of the activities which help in the readiness of the child. The next objective is to encourage independence by creating and providing the child with sufficient opportunities for self-expression. So, to provide the self-expression, the activities should be like the free play by choosing any activity of their choice, assigning responsibilities to the child like putting away the material or keeping the room in order or fetching the registers. These kind of activities help the child to develop self-expression. In group activities led by the children, by rotation, let each child take a lead in singing or playing games or telling stories individually. The next objective is development of an attitude or empathy and care towards others or differently abled children or the people who are in need. Structured conversation or the storytelling, dramatization, these are the activities through which the children can be exposed to the concept of differently abled, needy and the need to emphasize within them about the help to be given to others. Development of self-confidence. The child should be able to develop confidence by participating in group activities like the suggested activities like the circle games, group recitation of rhymes, songs, dramatization, free conversations, which help and encourage the child to perform individually in front of the others. Module 5, The principles of early childhood care and education centers. The principles followed by formulating the objectives of early childhood care and education is the child development in various domains such as the physical, motor, emotional, cognitive and moral development. The program should be organized to meet all these needs of the children in all the domains. The second principle is that age appropriate activities should foster the various domains of development. The family background and immediate environment needs a careful observation. The family income, the size of the family, parents' education, number of siblings and residential area have to be considered while we are formulating the objectives of the center. Keep in mind the individual differences of the child. Some children are fast in the development while some are slow in their growth. The individual differences should be kept in mind while forming the objectives and when planning the activities for the center. The balance should be there for formal learning and informal learning. There should be a balance between the formal and informal activities and learning. The next principle for formulating the objective is thematic approach. The children enter the early childhood care centers without much orientation. They have to be oriented with various themes to know about the world. The various themes might be about the family, about the community workers, the colors, different kinds of animals, etc. The next principle is that all the activities should be play based. The more of the play based activities should be included while planning the objectives and activities of the center. There should be a balance between the individual and group activities. The activities which are active and passive should be balanced. Outdoor and indoor activities, the free play and structured activities. The individual and group activities are necessary to meet the individual and group needs for development. For example, the play or organized games. The next principle is that the activities encourage self-discipline, independence and self-expression. Independence, self-discipline, self-expression, they are all essential for the child as he becomes or grows into an adult. So, when formulating the objective, it should be kept in mind to encourage the self-discipline in the child. The teacher-child ratio should be followed and kept in mind while framing the objectives of early childhood education center. In any preschool, the ratio should be not less than 1:25. Availability of the space for outdoor activities and free play in the indoor activities. Equipment availability should be also kept in mind while formulating the objectives and activities of the center. Module 6. The types of early childhood care and education centers. There are different types of early childhood care and education centers. When we are choosing any service, there are structural differences. The differences in the ownership, different learning environments and a range of different philosophies and depending upon the service provided by these centers. Now, let us have a look at some of the different types of early childhood care centers. The first one is the teacher-led services. In the teacher-led services, the paid staff have the main responsibility for the child's education and care. Parents are often encouraged to support the educators through involvement in the learning program. Next type is the kindergartens. They are employed and qualified registered teachers. They have a variety of structures. Most of them have a morning and afternoon sessions, but other provide extended sessions, that is the daycare, education and care. Most of the kindergarten cater for the children aged between 2.5 years to 5 years. They are the licensed schools. The Regional Kindergarten Association, they employ the teachers and manage funding, the property and allocation of resources. The next type of early childhood education center is a home-based service. The home-based or family daycare services provide babies and young children with early childhood education either in the child's own home or in the home of an adult caretaker. This may be the all-day or part-day education and care. Home-based services provide learning opportunities for children in small groups with a home-like surrounding. Some home-based care networks also operate on the playgrounds so that the educators and the children can have a regular social and educational contact. The next type of service is the center-based educational service and care. The kindergartens of this type include the all-day or part-day services, the Pacific language centers, privately owned centers, community owned centers. Here the person responsible for operating an education and care service must be qualified and registered teacher. There should be enough of other educators with a range of qualifications and experience to ensure the safe learning for the children. The next kind of service is the parent-led education service. In parent-led services, it is the parent of the children who are the main educators or teachers. Sometimes there may also be a paid teacher or a supervisor to support the parents in understanding the children's learning and development. Play centers. Play centers or parent cooperatives. The family of the children attending are responsible for how the centers are managed and operated. The parents become members of their play center and mostly they pay low fees to attend. Generally, play centers are licensed through some parent operated playgroups. These are some of the centers or the types of early childhood care and education services. So, today we have learnt about the different objectives of the early childhood care and education center. We also understood the principles for early care and childhood education centers on which the objectives should be formulated. We also understood the different types of early childhood care and education centers. Hope you have understood the lesson. Thank you.